like I stand pretty much unseen, but I open my eyes and beams come out. Give me symphonies, give me more than the life I've seen. Skull rise up, angels play, let my loneliness get blown away. Give me symphonies, give me more than the life I see.
All right, so right now I'm just gonna go into what I have found as a means of sorting through my trades. So essentially, what it looks like right now is completely absurd, right? No one, we don't know what's going on, and I plan to show you just what's going on. This is my ledger. Okay, this is how I look at my trades. So I know if I take it or not is one. You know, my zone number is right here. The date that I take in the trade is here. The time that I take the trade is here, and then the description of the trade. And in this video, I'm going to show how my language works in the description. Okay, so the description of the trade, there's different categories of trades. Here are the categories. There's these setups, also, or categories, whatever you want to call it. There's holding levels, holding zones, holding splits. Obviously, they are very similar, but they are different in the formation of the candlesticks to where I have to have a different setup for them. Protecting extreme, lonely pivot, breakouts, which is called bar bubbling, anti-breakouts, comeback bar preventions, intuition trades, which I've archived out. I'm not doing that anymore. H-S is holding setup, and then HLC is holding level creation. Okay, so I could draw this out right now, each and every one of them. Actually, that's not, I can go through the setups another time, but right now I'm just trying to show how I account for these trades as I'm doing this. So let's say if it's a holding level, let's just grab a holding level. When's the last time I've had a holding level? Actually, sorry, this is not, I want to go on this one, so if in case I mess it up, I don't mess anything big up. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, I don't know why it's split like that, but try not to get it too confused. Holding level. Here's a holding level. Let's go to that. Zone number 1. No, I don't know if I want it that recent, but whatever. I've got a lot of trades in here, man. So going to zone number 1 is a holding level. Okay, I see it. So starting off, right here is the holding level, right there. Boom. It's protecting free space of 2. So how I would type this out is right here. This is the description of the trade. 3 minute, because that's the time frame that I see it on. 3 minute holding level, HL, period. Period. After the period is the traits of the period. It's like in coding, programming. If you have a variable, sometimes you can have a dot and then that modifier that affects what's before the dot, you know? So the 3 minute holding level, what traits affect this? Well, it's protecting free space of 2, meaning down below it, it's protecting free space. And I just say PFS, protecting free space. Level 1, 2, or 3. Well, 3 is like this. 3 is like this. All these bars, and then the holding level here, that would be 3. 2 is about the same distance as the zone. The zone is this wide. Put it in another zone here, and it's basically we reach the end of the free space. Therefore, it's a protecting free space of 2. What else is there? It's outside of local distal line. Outside local distal line, OLDL. That's the trait that shows, if you can see here my mouse, this is a free space, the holding level right here, and then it goes up and then down here. These two little lines here, that's a zone. As you see it bounce from it, that's a zone. Therefore, that's a local distal line. So if the market goes through that local distal line into my holding level, therefore that's outside of the local distal line. Anytime there's plenty of zones, I'll show that. Look at this split right here. See this split on the down, split down. That is a 3-minute holding split short, but it's not. There's no local distal line around it. The nearest distal line is right here, and that's not near it. It's not local. So outside local distal line is distinct, even though it might sound like, you know, freaking fairy dust, but it's not. You can see it. It's a local distal line. Then I would do recency. So recency is 1 through 6, and whatever it is, say it's. So right now, recency it's about 1, 2 to 1. 1 or 2 is right here. 2 or 3 is like from to this pivot here, but it didn't touch the zone until way up here and then way down here. Now it hit the zone, so it's gone a long way. So the recency is from left to right. Magnitude is from how far it went before it comes back to the zone. So recency is probably 4 or 5 here. That's 4 or 5. That's pretty far away. Magnitude is also probably 4 or 5 here. And these aren't, 4 or 5 meaning I could say 4 3. That'd be closer to 3, It's a 4, but closer to 3. But now this is a 4. The first number is the most important, is the primary. 4 is how far it goes away. And then 5 is it's leaning on the far side. Now, this is not, there's a lot of noise in data, especially, and I'm assuming that because I'm not counting bars. I'm not doing this so rational. I'm doing it. It is rational. I'm objectifying what is, I'm trying to find how far it went before coming back. And on the MTF, where I can actually see the zone, it spent a lot of time before coming back to it, and that's how I do it. And there's that's how I collect the data. What else is there? OE, no. The arrival, it's coming down, but it used this local distal line as a zone and came back up. Came back up way up here too, and then comes down, then comes up, then comes down. So I'm not necessarily saying it's overextended. It's not, because overextended would be going in one direction and one direction only to reach my zone, and it's gone too far, without any retracement. That would be overextended. And I could say, that's it. So that's my trade. I don't know. This is zone number 1, so I don't know if I had the language correct. So let's see what I did. I said 3-minute holding level, outside local distal line, protecting free space, low, recency of 3-4, magnitude of 4-3. So we were pretty close, except my recency's off. My recency is 4-5 instead of 4-3, instead of 3-4, which is understandable. It's understandable for sure, because the 15-minute chart looks squished like that, which wouldn't be such a 4-5. It'd be 4-3. Okay, that's understandable, but still, I'm not gonna not be able to see this trade because the recency is off by 1, or magnitude's off by 1. But in general, that's how I describe the trade. So I write that down in my my ledger. That's how I do it. And then low is a way of me saying, that the zone is low on curve. So the curve is here, it goes up, and it's lower on the curve right here in the lower third of the curve. And I've been drifting away from that because we're not gonna know. That's how I describe the trade. There's plenty of other setups that I have to describe, but in general, that's how I do it. And my dictionary's right here. My dictionary is right here. These are all the traits that I can say, and they're also right here in the ledger. These are all the traits that I can say, and modifications to the zone. So early, tight, stingy, roomy. That essentially means if this is my zone, my proximal line I want to enter in, let's say I want to use this entire zone and bring that local distal line into it, I could bring that entire zone in and draw it like that and say the proximal line is early. So meaning the proximal line early, and then I'd probably say wide in the description of the trade, because the zone is now wide. It's pretty wide comparably to the other bars on the chart. So yeah, that's how I describe trades. Let's just do one more just for fun. Let's do one that's recently. Let's do one right here. 918. 918. Is that right? Yeah, 918. Let's go to 918 quick. 918, way up here. This is recently. Okay. So this was a anti-breakout. I see an anti-breakout here. So I am now counting. I'm implementing swings, getting involved here, because I need to be able to do that. So I'll show you. So this description would be a 3-minute anti-breakout dot. So now the traits that are in this is end of trend, immediately end of trend, because you can see that this thing is going up, 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 and then it comes down, and then it goes up again. So once it breaks that high again, it breaks that high, I'm in short for an anti-breakout, for an opposite of a breakout. So I'm essentially short and trying to defeat those breakouts, those breakout orders that are that they maybe put their stop right here on this distal line right there. So I'd go for a 1-to-1 or more if you wanted to. If you wanted to think this is the high for a while. I don't know. I think I was going for a 1-to-1 here. What was it? I was going for a 3-to-1. So I was going for more than that. I was going for a full trade, which is, it's possible, but it's not as probable, obviously. So anyways, it's a 3-minute anti-breakout, end of trend. Now I have to implement swings involved. So this is a new one. This is a new one for me as of yesterday. I have been wanting to find a way to understand where price is, like if it's high end curve, low end curve, whatever. I don't have any traits that really describe the latitude and the longitude location of a trade. And I think it's necessary because I'm trying to sort through these setups and try to find the ones that are better than the others. And I don't know which ones are better than the others because I don't have enough distinction between the two. Obviously the setups are different, but which setups work better in which areas? And I found out how to do it. So here it is. It is alpha. So I'll just spell it out right now. 3-minute anti-breakout, end of trend, alpha, swing. This is a bad one because the alpha swing is up and down. So that means I don't know. Alpha swing, I don't know. And then swing. Swing is most assuredly up. You can see up. Swing is up. And then recent is up as well. So how would that look like? It's 3-minute anti-breakout, EOT, end of trend. AS, I don't know. Swing is up. And then recent is up. It's continuing up. So right now, the alpha trend is I don't know. It's mixed. So you can see left and right. It's up and down. We're not sure which way it is. The swing recently, that swing is right here, is up. And then that recent is the one right here, right next to the bar. It's heading upwards right now. That's where it's going right now. So R is called recent. So that's where it is on the chart. And end of trend. And you can see that when you see EOT, end of trend, that means it's against recent. So if it's end of trend, it's definitely against recent. Or it's actually against the swing. Sorry, it's against the swing. Anyways, that's what it is. And then it's against in the parentheses on anti-breakouts. I specify what it's against. So it's against the 3-minute 2-bar bubbling, protecting free space of 3. Because it's high up there. IT is called in trend, and that's what it is. There it is. Let's check my work. We see it is a 3-minute anti-breakout end of trend of a 3-minute 2-bar bubbling, protecting free space of 2 in trend. Cool. I did pretty much the same except protecting free space of 3. I only said 3 because it's gone so far. Right here is the free space technically, and you could call it a protecting free space of 2, but whatever. It's 2 or 3 probably. Like I said, there's a little bit of a noise here, but I don't know how else to do it. I'm not gonna count bars. I'm not gonna count magnitude so much. I'm not gonna measure every little nitpick. I'm seeing what it is, and then IT is the most important trade, is in trend. It's right on top of the curve here, in trend. So that's how I specify the trades. That's what I write out every time I trade. As I trade, that's what I do. And there's a few other things that I mark down, but really for the most part, that's it. I mean, I don't want to spend so much time on the ledger when I'm trading, because I am a higher frequency trader. It's about one trade every 10-15 minutes. So I don't want to, it's hard to pay attention to all these columns. So it's really not that many. I try to keep it as simple as possible. And this description was a gigantic row of columns. It was a bunch of columns. Oh, protecting free space is its own column. 3. Oh, what's the width on the trade? Is it micro? Is this tiny zone narrow or wide or whatever? Narrow. And I typed out all of that. These past ledgers have been intensive, bro. Ridiculous. So I decided to create a language that combines all of them into one category, and I can know, when I'm doing this data analysis afterwards, I can split apart anything past the period is related to the period. So anything past anti-breakout, that's description of the anti-breakout. Anything past this and this period, this one is the description of this 15-minute 2-bar bubbling. And I can put commas here. I never use a comma, except if I'm going to comma out and say, oh, this is also inside a 60-minute comeback bar prevention, end of trend. Do you see that? So if I use the comma here, if you can see here, this is the description of the trade. It's an anti-breakout. It's in trend. It's an anti-breakout of the 15-minute 2-bar bubbling base. And let's just say, comma, it's also, this zone is inside on that 60-minute chart. Now it's a higher time frame. I can label the higher time frame is also in a comeback bar prevention, which is another one of my setups, end of trend. So I can combine all these different setups, and any descriptions that I see, I label it and I describe the trade, and all of them, every thing that I have, every idea that I have has a trait, and it isn't that complex actually. Half the time I don't use any of these traits, but these are the traits that I use. In describing the trades, and this is how I find it out. So I like it because then I can perform data analysis and see what traits work, what traits don't, and stuff like that. But for the most part, it does keep me attention to detail, and it keeps me wired in on what I'm actually doing instead of just, oh, it's a breakout. Like, I don't, well, this is a breakout. It's protecting free space. It's in trend. It's alpha swing is up. The swing is up. The recency is down. So I don't want to, whatever it is, that wouldn't actually happen. Because in trend would have to be in line with recency. But anyways, there's a lot going on here, but that's how I describe the trades. I think it's solid. Yeah. So that's what I do when I'm trading. All right, dude. Peace and harmony.